Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Fill Up Friday Live. I was just trying to figure out, I think we are live on YouTube, but I do not think that we are live on Facebook. So if you're watching on YouTube, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Looks like Facebook. I'm gonna check and see if you guys can. If you're also watching me on Facebook, please jump in the comments and let me know. But I do want to say thank you to my YouTube followers. So we're gonna give our Fill Up Friday faithful some time to come on tonight. We're gonna go ahead and kind of open up our Friday, talk about what we filled up on this week, talk about how we're feeling, and hopefully when we leave tonight, we will be full. Please drop in the comments. Let us know where you are listening from. Also, let us know if this is your first time. You guys, for some reason, Facebook is not loading. Give me 1 second, you guys. I'm just going to let the folks know that we are on YouTube. So, YouTube is holding us down tonight, and I am excited about that. I love my YouTube followers, and I want you guys to go ahead and show out tonight. Make sure that you are commenting so that I can know that you guys are with me. But I'm just going to jump on really quick so that I can make sure that my followers on the book is able to join us as well. What did you guys fill up on this week? Go ahead and drop that in the comments. Who's watching on YouTube? Okay, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to just hope that our folks from Facebook come on over and watch us on YouTube, because that's the only place we're going to be able to be live tonight. Latoya, if you are watching, can you let me know that you can hear me? So, if this is your first time watching, my name is Mrs. J Spire, and I am the creator and host of J Spirations Live. So, it is a motivational page, a motivational podcast where we come together on Friday nights and we talk about what we filled up on. We talk about what we needed this week. We talked about what we shared. We talked about what we imparted in others and what others imparted in us. We also get really transparent and we talk about what we didn't get. We talk about how we really felt, because it is okay not to be okay. And so that's some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. If you're watching live, please be a part of the conversation. And if you are catching the replay, then we appreciate you guys so much. I feel just a little off a little bit because I'm trying to make sure that everybody knows where we are. Getting a lot of you're not on, so just trying to pass that along. So this week, as I was trying to prepare, actually today, as I was preparing, I was thinking, what are we going to be talking about this week? I I didn't share anything this week at all. We always say that if we did not get anything from the Lord, if it's not intentional, then we're not going to just post just to post. So we always want to be intentional about what we're posting and what we're doing and why we're doing it, right? So as I was just thinking tonight to get ready for the show, I started thinking about pretty much like, what do you have to offer? Oftentimes we don't think that we have anything to give, but we do. There is a lot for us to give. There is a lot for us to do. God has put something in all of us, and what He wants us to do is to use it. He wants us to use what we have for His glory. He wants us to use what we have for the good, right? And so this week, there was someone that I came in contact with. I've seen her several times. I've spoken to her, but I don't really know her. So she is moving on to some new endeavors in her life. And when I saw her, I wanted to congratulate her. She's really a quiet person, so I don't hear her talk much. I don't hear her interact or see her interact with people. But when I saw her yesterday, I felt compelled to say, hey, I understand that you're leaving, and I just wanted to tell you congratulations, for moving on and being able to do something different. And as she and I started to talk, she didn't talk much, but she just really listened. And so as she started to do that, we started, I almost felt like, wow, I felt the connection, right? But I did not, let me see. I felt the connection with her, but I was like, wow, I really could have been talking to her all the time, because sometimes we make assumptions about people, or we make assumptions about things, right? We don't think that that's a person that we can connect to. We don't think that that's a person that we can give anything to, or we don't think that there's a person that they're going to be able to give anything to us. But yesterday, as I started talking to her, she said, wait a minute. She stepped away and she came back and she said, I'm a hugger and I want to give you a hug, right? And in the middle of all these COVID things, and I'm wearing my mask, and I'm sure she wasn't sure, like, can I really give her a hug? But she wasn't actually talking about a physical hug. She actually grabbed this little card that said, here's a hug. And when I opened it up, it said something like, you're special, you're thought about, and you're loved. And I thought, you know what? This is a person I hadn't talked with, I hadn't connected with, hadn't really thought about talking to, because there was an assumption that she was quiet. There was an assumption that she just kind of stayed to herself. But I realized that I missed out on so much from this person just because of what I thought, right? Just because of what I assumed, how I assumed that she was. And sometimes we make assumptions about people. Sometimes we make assumptions about people. People make assumptions about us. Sometimes we downplay ourselves. We don't think that we have anything to give. We don't think that we have anything to offer, but we have a lot to offer and we have a lot to give. So tonight, I wanted to step away a little bit about really what I filled up on this week. And I really wanted to have this conversation about what we have in us, right? What do we have to give? What do we have to provide? What do we have to share? Because we talk so much about, people pouring into us and us pouring into people. We talk about that a lot on the show. And then I started to think about, like, all the characteristics that we have, all the great things that God has put inside of us that we're not sure about, right? And so we don't put it out there. So tonight I wanted to have the conversation, and I wanted to ask the question, what do you have to give? Right? What do you have to share? What do you have inside of you that you're keeping to yourself that God is waiting for you to pour out? Right? What's inside of you? The creativity, the love, the hugs. And it doesn't have to be that physical touch hugs, but that young lady yesterday just giving me that card and it said, here's a hug, like, it touched me in a place, because sometimes I just need a hug. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical hug, right? But I just need to know that someone's thinking about me. I need to know that someone cares, that someone's loving on me, that I'm on somebody's mind, right? That I'm on somebody's heart. And so yesterday, I found out that she's a hugger and that she has so much love to give. And I've been missing out on it just because I was assuming, right? Because I didn't open up my space, because I didn't open up my heart, because I didn't open up my mind to receive all of those things that this person that's in my space all the time, that she had to give, right? So the question again is, what do you have to give? Oftentimes when we get into relationships, especially when it's those love relationships, we're asking people, what do you bring to the table? Right? That's what we're asking them. What do you bring to the table? And we don't often sit back and think about, well, Mrs. J. Spire, what are you taking to the table? Janice, what are you taking to the table? Latoya, what are you taking to the table? Right? Because just like you want to know what someone's bringing, they want to know, what are you bringing? Because when you bring something to the table, right, if you're in a meal and you're bringing something to the table, then that table is plentiful, right? If we're having a meal together and I'm bringing the meat and you're bringing the potatoes, and then Kathy's bringing the vegetable and Don is bringing the dessert, we have a full meal and we're going to eat well. But if I'm limited and I only bring one thing, then yes, we're going to have something, but are we going to be full? Right? Are we going to be nourished when we finish this meal? So the thing is, what are you bringing to the table to not only make sure that you are full, but to help someone else get full as well? We talk every Friday night, Fill Up Friday. We come together. What did you fill up on this week? What did you get this week, right? And if you didn't fill up, what did you need? There's someone that's out there that has what you need. And there's someone out there that needs what you have. What are you bringing to the table? What do you have to give? What do you have to share? Right? And some of us don't want to give. Some of us don't want to share because we think that we have to give it all, right? So we're like, I can't give it all. I can't give it all. But think about what God says about the mustard seed, and think about what God says that all we need is the faith of the size of a mustard seed, right? So what if what you have, a person only needs just a little bit of it, right? Because once you get that faith of a mustard seed and you plant that seed, then you no longer have one, right? It multiplies, right? It multiplies. And so when we share and when we give what we have inside of us, not only does God make it plentiful in us, but then what we have now planted it in someone else. And then here comes the increase, and here comes the increase, and here comes the increase. Because what you gave to them, then they're able to now plant it in someone else, right? And it's like a chain reaction. It just keeps increasing and increasing and increasing, and things just keep happening and happening and happening, right? Because of what we are sharing. Kathy says that she has kindness inside of her to share, and I can vouch for that because she is a very kind person. Sometimes she's like into everything because she wants the peace, right? She wants to be kind to everybody. She wants to show that. Right. And so sometimes there's going to be people that we interact with that's not going to be nice to us. But if we have kindness in our hearts, it breaks it down. And so every time that you interact with that person and you're kind to them, it breaks it down just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And the next thing you know, they're speaking to you, they're being kind to you, and then they're starting to be kind to other people because they understand what that kindness feels like, not only to receive it, but also to give it. It opens up their world. It starts to open up their heart. It starts to open up their mind. And so Kathy has kindness inside of her. I have goodness, I always say I'm just like full of so many things, right? Because it's not the fruits of the spirit, it's the fruit, right? And so God has given us fruit, right? And so there's enough of it just to just pass it out and share it and pass it out and share it. And in passing it out and sharing it, we hope that we're giving it to ourselves, because the more that we pour it into ourselves, then the more plentiful it becomes, and it just keeps coming out. So then there's enough, right? There's enough for me. There's enough for you. So there's enough for Janice and enough for Latoya. And there's enough for Dare to Be Creative. And there's enough for Kathy, right? There's enough of it, and it's plentiful, right? So I asked the question again: what do you have to give, and what do you have to share? Don't keep it all for yourself. You know, sometimes when we come on, I say make sure you share the YouTube, make sure you share the Facebook, share it, because I don't want you to keep all this Jayspiration to yourself, right? Because when I leave on Friday nights, I'm full. I'm full from the love that you all give. I'm full because I'm honored that you give your time, because you're giving right now. You're giving your time to Jayspirations, right? I'm honored that you want to share your time. Sometimes we think that we have to like share all these things, and it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. And if all we need is a little bit of faith, if God says the faith of a mustard seed, then just a little bit of kindness, right? Just a little bit of sympathy, a little bit of empathy, right? A little bit of, well, a whole lot of love. But you know that it grows the more that you spend time together. God starts to mend your heart. He starts to mend their heart. And that love for each other, it starts to increase and increase and increase, right? Because you may start off liking a person, right? And then the more you spend time together, the more you get to know each other, right? The more you become concerned about each other, then it grows, and it grows from like to love. And then it grows from love to in love, right? And then you start to just want to be with that person. You want to be around that person. You want to spend all that time because you really love that person. So just a little bit goes a long way, right? Because when you give a little bit and you're genuine about it, then God just starts to increase that. He starts just like he increases our territories, right? A lot of us started with apartments, and then we went to, we started with the 1 bedroom. The next thing you know, we're in a 2 bedroom. Next thing you know, we're in a townhouse. Next thing you know, we're in a house. The next thing, we're owning more. God will increase our territory, right? When he knows that he can trust us with it. That's right. Mustard seed size faith. So that's what I wanted to come on tonight and just really share with you guys. I wanted just to ask you, what do you have to give? What do you have to share? And I want you to know that there is so much inside of you, right? Don't keep it all to yourself. What God has given you, not only did he give it to you because you needed it, but he gave it to you because he knew that someone else would need it too, right? He connects us with people. There's someone this week that, like a couple weeks ago, but I can't even say a couple weeks ago. It's been months where I would see this person every day. And initially, I'll be honest, I was like, she don't look like she don't look like she wanna talk to nobody. And then she would start to speak, and I would say, "Hey, how you doing?" And so we would start to speak, and we would talk a little bit, just about anything. We may laugh, talk about the kids or whatever. And recently, I found out that she experienced something that I experienced, and when I found out about it, it pricked my heart, right? Um, and I thought, oh my goodness, like that hurts me to my heart because I know what that feels like, right? God has a way of connecting us with people that we need or may need us, because sometimes we don't want to be a part of things. And I know I've been there, I've said that. I'm like, Lord, I don't need you to put me through this so that I can help somebody else. Like, I'm not about that life, Lord. Like, I don't want to do it. But every so often, like, he knows what's going to happen next. And so he will connect you and connect them with who they need and what they need, right? Because we don't have to do life alone. I know I've said that before, and I'm going to continue to say it because I need people to understand that we don't have to do life alone. You don't have to do life alone, right? So he connected me with that person. And even though we haven't talked about the situation, I know that when and if that person comes to me, I'm going to be there with open arms, right? Because I have something that she needs. I have that experience. I've experienced it. And I may not, it's not going to be the same, but I have what she needs. And who am I to keep it all to myself? Right? It's not just for me, because it was someone else that imparted in me because they had gone through the same situation that I had gone through. And what if I had a called them and they didn't answer? What if I had a called them and they didn't share? What if I had a called them and they didn't say relationships are different or things are different, but let me tell you how I handled it? What if they didn't share with me? They had what I needed, right? They had it to give and they had it to share. And it helped me with my healing, and it helped me with my growth, and it helped me to see things a different way. Why? Because I know that if that person was able to go through it, that I would be able to go through it, that it may not always feel good, but I would be able to push my way through because of their transparency, right? Because of their love that they gave me, their understanding, their empathy, their sympathy, all those things there that they gave me, right? And so it was imparted in me, and so now I'm going to be able to impart it in someone else. Kathy says my soul is receiving that. Listen, God has been so good to us. There's a song, God, I'm not know if I'm going to say it right. Janice is on here. Maybe she can help me. Um, as good as God has been to me, I can't afford not to praise His name, right? And so, as good as God has been to us, and He's been good to you because you're on here tonight. Because there's so many people who didn't make it to tonight, right? So we know that above everything else, He's been good to us because we're up and we're alive and we're living and we're talking to each other right now. So He's been good to us. But so how can we can't afford not to pass on what He has given to us. We can't afford not to do it, right? We are His vessels here on the earth, and we have to keep passing it on and passing it on and passing it on. So, what you have inside of you, other people need. Don't downplay what you have. Don't minimize what you have. Share what you have. It's important. It's not little, it's big, right? It's big, and God needs you. So He needs you to push through, and He needs you to spread those things. He needs you to spread your wings. He needs you to open your mouth. He needs you to open your heart. He needs you to open your eyes, and He needs you to do. Don't suppress it. Don't keep it. He needs you to share it. And the more that you share it, the more that He's going to keep on imparting things into you and into your life. There's going to be some times where we're going to be going through things we don't even want to go through. But when we come out on the other side of it, it's going to be so powerful. And even though we don't want to sometimes, but He's going to use what we went through for us to be able to impart it in someone else. And when I say I know, trust me, I know. Even trauma, drama, whatever it is that He allowed to happen, He's going to use it for His glory. All right, you guys. And just FYI, we are not on Facebook tonight. So thank you guys for checking and being able, to see us and jumping on YouTube to watch us tonight. I appreciate it. Saying that Facebook was having some type of error, so I don't know, but I was not gonna let Facebook or anything else stop me from getting that out tonight. And it's so crazy because earlier I was saying, God, I hadn't really posted anything this week. Got Philip Friday tonight. Have no idea what we're going to talk about. And that's why I know that God is I'm excited about Jaspirations because I know that God is always in it. And I know it's not me, and it gives me the opportunity to continue to give Him the praise, give Him the honor, give him all the glory for it, because the things that come out of my mouth is always him speaking out of me, because sometimes I have no idea what the topics are. And as I started to type, tonight, Philip Friday Live, and it came to me, what do you have to give? What do you have to share? We spend so much time, for those of us who have children, don't we spend a whole lot of time trying to get our kids to share, talking about how important it is for them to share, right? When they're fighting with their sibling, their cousins, their peers, and they're taking away, it's mine, it's mine. What are we saying? It's two of them. You can give him one, right? And you can take the other. We spend years talking about sharing and how important it is. And then we become adults and we have all these things in us, right? And then we forget that was an important lesson that we wanted to we wanted to teach our children, right? That it's important to share. It's important to share. Sometimes we have to take it back to just a child lesson, right? We think it's just for the children, but it's not just for the children, it's for us. And Don, I'm excited that you see me live on YouTube. But every Friday night, we're live on YouTube. So every Friday at 8 o'clock, we're doing YouTube and we're doing Facebook. So it's always at the same time. So you can watch on Facebook or you can watch on YouTube every Friday. All right, you guys, I love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for jumping on and sharing some of your time with us. I want you to take the time the rest of this weekend to fill up. I hope that if you came on a little empty, then I hope that you are full, right? And if you take some time this weekend to practice some self-care, right? Take some time to love on yourself and think about, what do you have inside of you that you can share with someone else. We are still working on our 5-year celebration. We are excited about that. We'll be sharing the news in just a couple of weeks. We're still also working on our Men Talk 2 series. In the process, we have confirmed, but just trying to get some dates, working with some of the guys to be able to come on. We're excited about that. If you guys have any topics you want to explore, if you have guests that you would like for us to have on, send us a message on Facebook, Jayspirations Live. Feel us, Philip Friday. Send us an email at jspirations live@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. We love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Fill up, impart some things into some other folks, right? Start at home. That's where it starts. Start at home, starting your home, telling your children, your wife, your husband, your friends, telling them how important they are to you, planting those seeds of kindness, of love, of patience, right? Start at home. That is your first ministry. And I promise you, God is going to expand your territory. I love you guys so much. Have a great rest of the weekend. And as always, be J-Spired.